And welcome to Space Chicken, the podcast that's been caveman free for an entire episode. Joining me is a guy who was in an incredibly romantic room earlier when we started, but he went ahead and turned on the lights. It's Scott. Say hi, Scott.
How you doing? Do you want me to turn the lights off? Because I can do that. I can do
Nah.
that.
I feel like it would ruin the flow of the show. Um, and of course, missing from our extraterrestrial show is someone who we froze in ice and are hoping to thaw out in 1,000 years. Wilson. May he rest in ice. So today I wanted to talk about something that's weird. I had an inkling for something, and I know that you, Scott, won't understand this craving that I had as far as video games concerned. I was sitting around going, man, I really wish I had a turn-based strategy game to play right now. Because I was playing on Steam had a sale like on THQ Classics, and I picked up oh Christ, am I really doing this right now? Am I drawing a blank on the game?
I believe you are drawing a blank.
This is terrible. Oh man, unpreparedness for the win. Darksiders. Darksiders, which is a game that I wanted to play like 10 years ago when it came out, but I didn't have the money for it, and if a game had to be sacrificed, it would be, you know, that game. But they had it on sale like $17. I got like 20 games, but I only wanted Darksiders. And then Darksiders 2, which I hear was not as good as Darksiders. Anyway, so I got that, and that's a very fast game. That's to like juggle people around with your sword and bite them in the air kind of thing and stab them in the face. Very fast, very punchy, very much 10 years old, but still a lot of fun. And there was something that happened from me playing that. So I've been playing that. I've been playing Paladins, right? I've been playing Stardew Valley because I downloaded Stardew Valley because I needed a game to bring me down the high of the faster games. And I remember about 2 weeks ago, I told you that we should play Original Sin Divinity, right?
Hmm.
And Sin Divinity is a lot of fun, but that is a turn-based game. And what do you remember what you told me?
I don't remember my exact words, but I'm sure it was something very negative about turn-based games.
You were like, I don't like turn-based games. And I said, yes. And are you asking me to download a turn-based game? I said, yes, so that I can play a turn-based game with you. And I said, yes. I go, a game I don't like to play. And I tried to sell you that Divinity Original Sin was actually a really good turn-based game and you would enjoy it. But after you gave in and you're like, fine, I'll download it. I was like, you know what? Let's not do
I
that
know.
because
That's right. You broke me down and then said, "No, let's not do it."
yeah, I felt bad. I felt like I was trying to push you onto some drug you weren't interested in having. So I win ever since then because so those of you who've never played Divinity Original Sin, it's a top-down turn-based game where there's two main characters and there's other characters that you can add to your party, but those two main characters are playable from two different people, so you can play it as two people, each controlling those two characters plus any of the other NPCs that you can attach to the characters. But you can have debates in the game as far as which route you take. So you can hit a certain situation where you meet a dude, and a dude's like, I'm a dude, you can't pass. And then you could have a conversation with the other player to decide the path you take. And if I can explain it properly, it's one person's main game. So like it'll be my game with two characters I create. And then he'll join my game and he'll get to be the other character. But when we meet this dude and the dude's like, you shall not pass, and we can bribe him, we can fight him, or we go, fuck, it's not worth it, let's walk around. And me and him can debate it in game using like the conversation trees. And if we get to a point of disagreement, we literally play paper, rock, scissors via, rolled against our conversation stat or our argument stat, whether it's an aggressive option or a passive option or like a conniver option. And it'll go. So if we're playing and I want to pay him off and Scott wants to kill him and we debate and he wins the debate, it will prompt a fight. We'll fight and kill him. And if killing him pisses off his cousin in town, and now his cousin, who is the fish market guy, won't sell his fish now, that's permanent to my game. Because he can leave. He can leave and go back to where the hell he came from. But now my game has to like continue with the permanency, which is why I think Divinity Original Sin was so cool and why I don't play it more, because it's just more fun with
With other
people who are
people.
going to
Yeah.
disagree with you. Not just more fun with people, just people who are going to go, man, bro, you playing like a pussy, son. Let's do it this way. So, but I needed that fix, you know. But
I don't know
yeah.
about. I don't know. Let me stress that.
So Scott, please explain to the people, the fine people in the internets, why do you hate great games?
Well, I think that's kind of I can't think of the words, but that's not a good argument. What I'm gonna say is I don't like those games. Uh, I find them incredibly boring. I prefer quicker action because we've been down this road before, but um, the concept of that game does sound very good. Okay, for a turn-based game, yeah, the interactions and the ideas behind it, I like. It seems kind of funny that we just end up playing paper rock scissors through a video game,
Yes.
but the world I enjoy. The world aspect of the aspect of people coming into your world, I like too. Um, I actually was listening to it saying, I wish it wasn't a turn-based game. I wish it was something kind of like a. I can't think of a good thing. Well,
So
I would.
so probably more like Divinity 2. So if there's a Divinity, um, game series, and Original Sin was a turn-based top-down D&D style
Mhm.
game, but Divinity 2 was more, walk around and slap things. So if you could imagine it being more like a multiplayer version of that, is that what you're saying? Like a third
Yeah,
person, first
yeah,
person? What are you talking?
yeah. Basic. Some.
Take me to your game. Come on, I'm here.
Well, I would even. Oh, what was that game we played? You, me, and Dave played. It was a top down.
Oh, it was a Victor Vran.
Right, like I would even be cool with that. Like that one, we had interaction with people. Although I don't generally like those games as much, but I would even be okay with that. But I think it's something from third person view, very much in the realm of like a WoW third person view, or anything like that. It'd be kind of cool with a big open world concept, but like it wasn't like walk up to a person, click, engage, fight scene happens. More like just very fluid. I think
So
that'd be kind of cool.
let's talk about the different type of turn-based games, because I feel like you're thinking more of like the Final Fantasy, the older Final Fantasies. Let's say seven, because
Mhm.
seven's everyone's favorite.
Of course.
Where you can attack or use special power, and then you attack, slap, and then you go back to your position, and then the other person attacks, slaps, and goes back to their position. And so, to explain to everyone, clearly I'm pro turn-based, right? And one of the reasons that I am pro turn based is because there's a layer of strategy in turn based games, which I'm not saying doesn't exist in the faster games, but like when you talk about positioning on a grid versus positioning on a live action field, it's a little different. So there's also other types of games. So have you ever played a game like Wasteland 2
I have not played.
or XCOM? So
I played that.
yeah, so there's the type of turn based where you also move across the map, right? So you're standing where you're standing, I'm standing where I'm standing, and now
Mhm.
it's not just that I can hit you from anywhere. It's not like, oh, I have sword, I can jump to you, slap you, jump back to my starting position. It's I have sword, I must be in range of sword. So I have to move myself to. But XCOM didn't have swords, but if we go to Wasteland, there's people with knives, and then there were punching
Mm.
people, and then there's other games where you could have swords. So just stay with me, people who are familiar with these games. I'm not saying XCOM you were fighting aliens with swords, and I'm gonna say that now, and then I'm gonna go back and look, and there's probably fucking swords in XCOM. Anyway, so you get within range of that weapon, and then you'll hit, and you might run out of action points. Action points used for movement, and then actions, and each action costs an action point. And suddenly that positioning matters, because now I position myself to put myself in range of a sword hit, but now I am now in range of your attack back, or someone else's counter attack from the side who might have some like behind cover type thing, whether it be cover itself or some spell of smoky fog, right? And then it becomes a risk reward thing, because now I've hung my melee guy out there to be exposed. So what about that? Have you that type of turn based? because that's what Divinity is. Divinity Original Sin is a move and attack style thing.
Well, I'm watching. It's funny because why you were saying that, because I pulled up XCOM because I was curious about what it was. I feel like I've played these games before where it's like the XCOM's like you're controlling a squad, right?
Yes,
I hope I'm
yes.
watching the right one.
Yes.
All right. But it's like what I find cool about it, I didn't realize this, is like you go down almost into like third person close up.
Yes.
Right? I didn't realize that about this. I do somewhat enjoy those games, but I see how it's like you move to a spot, you click on them, and then it goes down to that view and shoots the guy, right? Like you can go to that little close-up version. Those are okay. I don't really. I guess what you're saying is the ones I despise, that I dislike, are the Final Fantasies, where it's very like because I like to act on instinct. I don't really like to sit and like debate with my head about something. It just doesn't seem enjoyable to me. So this one, like I'm watching XCOM now, is more of a quicker paced game. I'm just watching it now. It seems quicker paced and everything. I could definitely see myself maybe trying it out, something like this, but no, nothing like I like the one. All right, so with the game you were talking about, right? Sounds very. It sounds entertaining if I was playing it with other people, right? It sounds okay. This could be entertaining because we could be joking over Skype or whatever, or maybe you wouldn't do Skype because it would make it more interesting. But
I do shit out some Skype. I'll give you in real life. I'll call you a feeg.
No. What I'm saying is, like, would it be more interesting, that kind of game, if you had to debate about something, but you can only use the in-game messaging? Would that make it funnier? Trying to like.
Yeah. So like I played a lot of it with Wilson before we put him on ice, and it was a lot of fun. But we were talking live, over Skype or Discord, and we would debate. But I had to train him to not like when we were talking, because we wanted to communicate like what we were doing, because you could set up combos, but between the things. So like you can set up a poison, or you can set up a root or a stun or something, and then follow it up with another thing. But he would start debating with me in real life instead of doing it in game.
Stop talking to me.
Yeah, like dude, or that or do it simultaneously, like talk but also make a decision while you're talking, because that is honestly, that game feature by itself is why I got the game. Like that game feature by itself was like, hey, I really want to try this thing out to see the dynamic of going into someone's world, their in-game world, and wrecking it for them. Like going in there and going, I paper rock scissors your ass, bro, and now you're fucking the mayor's daughter. So good luck later on when you need a favor from him for the invading horde.
I
did not find an encounter where that happens, just for the record. Fact out there.
That concept of the game, I enjoy permanent. I forget what they call it. Permanent. Like you can permanently change your world that you're working in, right? So if you blow up a building, that building's always blown up.
That's the opposite of a persistent universe.
There it is.
Right, a persistent universe is a universe in which you don't change anything. It's the same thing every time you go in there, a la WoW. And then they have the opposite of that, which is a term I can't remember either. Closer to maybe a what is that game called? Elder Scrolls Online, ESO. So like ESO, like when I accomplish something in a zone, that zone is forever changed to me, but it won't. So in ESO it gets a little weird because when you play that, so like let's say like I played ESO like everyone's starting zone over and over again. I've never gotten like to end game in that game, but it is a lot of fun. I do find the game fun, but for some reason it's not engaging. It's not engaging enough for me to keep going back to. But like where I'm at right now, if you met me in the world, we could see each other if we partied up and like phased into each other's world. But in my world, you wouldn't be able to see what I saw. Like what's on your screen would be different than my screen, because you would have like let's say I went into a temple somewhere and cleansed the spirits, so now they were friendly. But you had not finished that quest chain yet.
It's like it's phased for you.
Yeah, you would be fighting those spirits, and I'd be like, I can't attack, I can't even target them. I can't help
You
you,
know,
but
that's
sorry.
that's something that WoW pushed heavily because they realized that you know, it'd be the same, nothing would change, right? Unless it changed for everybody. So they went heavily into phasing with WoW before I left. I mean, now I know that they're heavily into phasing again, but I it's funny because that situation always happened where like you wanted to go help somebody but you can't unless you made a new character or you know got a character at the same point in the phasing as that one. But that's a good solution to the world changing problem. But the problem there is that everyone's going to end up phasing to the same point. So it's almost like a predetermined path for everybody. So it's not really like, yeah, things are different, but uh, I mean, you're all just doing the same thing. Whereas the world you're talking about is kind of like, well, if you killed that guy, this happened, but you know, any other crazy amount of possibilities could have happened. You know, so that's kind of cool. It's your world, you know, and I enjoy that aspect of it. In fact, if there was a game more based around if you had four people in that world and it was like so if me, you, and Will were playing and we started the world, and then anything we did in the world, we were all in it together. So even if you logged in one day without me and did stuff, or I logged in, but we're all based in that one world. I think that would be kind of cool.
How
Cool.
fucking bananas would that be though? Because conceptually, I like that idea, but like, let's say you will right. We make this world that you're talking about, and what you're saying is that the world stays the same even if you two aren't playing, right? So let's
Right.
say let's say we play every Wednesday or something, right? And then one Wednesday you can't because of life, and the other Wednesday he can't because again he's frozen in ice. And I go in there and then just go fucking bananas and just flamethrower the neighboring kingdom. Let's say it's a kingdom style game, right?
It's
And I
hilarious.
and I flamethrower them, right? And then you log in the next day and there's an army standing outside of our gates going, "You're the flamethrower king."
You don't
And
find
you're
that
like, "What the
hilarious?
fuck, dude? I just wanted to come mine some ore because I wanted to make some weapons, and
Yeah.
now there's an army outside, and you two assholes aren't even logged on."
How great of a game would that be if you like? But think about it though, like because we're like talking on Skype or whatever, and like one day I wake up, you know, I'm not able to do anything this week, and you're like, hey man, just so you know, shit hit the fan in the world. Be ready when you pop in, like that kind of thing. How fucking hilarious would that be? Like things would be like, hey, Will decided to be a dick, and he went and killed all these people, so now we have these people. Like that kind of idea that like oh, I was just sleeping and I didn't know what happened, you know, in the world.
I feel like that could ruin friendships. Like,
That'd be amazing.
I feel I feel like we would do that one day, and we would come in and go. The name of the game would have to be called Motherfuckery, right?
You know?
Like it would have to be called Motherfuckery Kingdoms United or something like that. Like Motherfucker and then a subtitle of some sorts. I would be down to play that with you guys, but at some point, we have to wonder just as a social experiment. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna actually design the game. I'm gonna make it turn based.
Oh God.
At some point, yeah, just again like as a social experiment, we can determine what type of people we are, right? If
That's
we
true.
go in and then instead of it being a thing where it's like, oh, I just went in and collected the taxes. That way it didn't hit the money cap. Next time you guys logged in and it wasn't like we were losing money because no one was there to collect it. It would be like, nah, dude, sorry. Started a war with the samurais. They're totally like 10 levels higher than us. I'm not going to log ever back into this game, so have fun.
I mean, yeah, there's obviously downsides to it, but I think that you'd have to a limit the number of people that can be involved, right?
I like
And
four. Four was a solid number. Like
four is
four,
a good
you
number.
create the persistent universe, and then each person would host it, right? So like the best connection would host it when you're playing multi. Are we designing a game right now?
I think we're
Is this
designing a
a
game
game
right now.
design meeting? Trademark. No Rancis Gaming. Come at me,
I
dog.
think I think the problem with it would be um, if one person stops playing and then you're shorthanded, you should be able to kick someone out and bring someone new in. Would that be
I like that.
possible?
I like
Because I
that.
mean,
We
what
do
happens
that.
if like we start playing with Will? I mean, you know, and he gets frozen a lot and falls
Yeah,
down
he
wells.
does. He does. Yeah,
So
he has a
if
problem.
that happened, We'd be
Or
like,
if we're playing with Dave, and he literally only does stuff to fuck us, because Dave would be the guy who would go into the game, and the first thing he would do was poison the water of the people,
he'd be
and then
what's
go,
his
dude,
name?
there's a revolution, man. I don't know what happened. Let's kill these wenches.
He'd be Leroy Jenkins, right? He would be that guy.
He would be impossible. He'd be impossible to control. We should
Oh
make
man,
this game. We should be game
that
designers,
this would
bro.
be an awesome game, and you know what got me thinking about this was a combination of games. So what you were saying, that game that Dave's playing,
Counter Strike.
Stu, DayZ.
Rust. Oh yeah,
Ru-
he was playing DayZ. He's moved on to Rust. He abandoned DayZ. I told him that too. I said, Stu, DayZ's a bad choice. You're not, it's gonna be. And then he just hit the point where everyone's just motherfuckering him, and he's just tired of it, and so he moved on to Rust.
So I don't even know what Rust is, but
Rust is a Minecraft-esque game,
ugh,
except better graphics. I don't know,
all
dude.
right.
I'm playing Ark, and then if we play 7 Days to Die, 7 Days to Die is the same thing. Like you extract stuff to survive.
So like the Left 4 Dead 7 Days to Survive kind of world, where
Hmm.
it's more persistent. Like if it was like a Left 4 Dead where you clear a village and now the village is safe, and you build.
You think of a different game, Left 4 Dead. You didn't clear a village. You tried to.
No, no, no. I'm saying in the concept of zombie world. Like
Okay.
if we were in a persistent world where we went in, we cleared a village, and then we had like people in the village, and then we saved the village and we barricaded it, and then like every time we went on, our job could be to, just that concept of persistent world. It could be samurais and knights, or it could be the Walking Dead kind of world. Um, but those combination of games became in my head. By the way, I downloaded that seven whatever left seven. What was that game?
7 Days to Die.
Yeah, installed it. Didn't work. I don't know what's happening. Anyway,
Request
continue.
it. All right, but I was gonna say you have a couple days to request a refund. You should do that if it's not running on your rig. Yeah. Like again, conceptually, the idea is a super like because what I'm constantly searching for on Steam, and I'm just constantly in Steam games, is a 4-player cooperative game that isn't just like, hey, we're gonna kill stuff because like I see Killing Floor 2, right? So I threw Killing Floor 2 on my wish list, and if that comes out, I think they sell 4 packs for that. And if that comes out, we're all getting it. That looks like a lot of fun. It's just zombie massacre, but it's not. There's something about it that is super unsatisfying. So if you check out on the No Right Answers Gaming cross promotion YouTube channel, I did like it only took, it was usually I do my impressions and they're usually about 10 minutes, but when I did the one for Wildlands for Tom Clancy Ghost Recon Wildlands, it was a 2-minute video because the game is a been there done that game. And and I didn't have a lot to say about it other than it felt awkward just doing things, and it's like, yeah, I've done all this before. But Ubisoft has always been kind of perfecting that sandbox style game with the Assassin's Creed and the Watch Dogs and all that stuff. So it was, it was their something fancy word for masterpiece. And I there's something when I go to these games and play them that some of them, and I choose Wildlands because I think Wildlands is a game a lot of people are familiar with. Just scream like, meh,
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, I just got into a car and I jumped the gorge and it got to the end and I jumped out of it at the last second and parachuted down the gorge as explosions happened in the background, and it's like, eh.
You
It's like,
remember
It's
remember
like it
they
doesn't
did
feel interesting.
there was that South Park episode that said the Simpsons did it, and whatever they came up with, the Simpsons did it.
Simpsons did
So
it.
like whenever I get into a vehicle that has more than one person in it, I think of the original Halo. Like I'm not saying there wasn't one before it, but that is like getting into a Warthog when I used to play with my brother, and one would be driving like crazily and the other one's on the gun. That was just like embedded in my head, and that was 2000, late 90s, early 2000, I forget. And ever since then, every time there's a multi-person vehicle thing, I'm just kind of like, meh. Like, yeah, this is exciting. Wow, would be. you know. Or actually,
Yeah.
Tribes was that like that too. I think it was Tribes 2 I used to play, where I could get in the plane and somebody else would hop in the plane and he'd be the bomber and I'd be flying. I forget what it was about. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
ever since then, I get the same feeling as you. Like I play a game and so many of these games is like, yeah, somebody else did that. It's really just I'm used to this, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and again, I think that's why we've been enjoying Paladins so much, and then why I was enjoying Overwatch before I switched over to Paladins because you Jim Oaks were playing it. Um, and it says, oh, it's not just another first person shooter. Now it's a first person shooter with abilities and
Yeah.
abilities that are unique, and they kind of push what it means to be playing a first person shooter, and also kind of pushes the genre of MOBA. And it's why I like Smite so much, is because it's like, hey, here's a MOBA, but nah, dude, we're putting you in the action and it's third person, you're doing this. And Paragon, where it's like, all right, we're gonna take that fast paced third person MOBA and we're actually gonna slow it down to be more like the old classic MOBA where last hitting matters. Not that last hitting matters, that doesn't matter in Smite, but in Smite, eventually you can full clear a wave. And then last hitting doesn't matter because you use your ability and you full clear a wave. So
Mhm.
it turns into that. And I've got to the point where games have to be interesting. I've been playing Papers, Please. Fuck is that game interesting? And it's literally DMV Trainer 2000. Like, you just literally review passports, but you start doing that, and after a while, they throw an intrigue about like a revolution, and you're assisting the
I'm
revolution.
sorry. Stop.
All
Time
for
out.
yeah,
Time out. Time
yeah,
out. Time
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
You said Papers, Please. Never heard of it before. And I was like, okay, maybe there's like something is. And you say, no, it's literally just reviewing someone's paperwork. It's just kind of.
Dude, the game conceptually, like, pitch that game to me. I never help you publish it, but I played it, and if I can tell you, it's fucking amazing, dude. It is an amazing experience,
Is it
and
like where in the world is Carmen San Diego type amazing? Where like you're just sitting there looking at the map and the papers and trying to figure things out?
so okay, so here's Paper Please. I'm doing an impression video on it, so you're gonna get my I was playing Papers, Please voice like later on the No Right Answers channel, but for now, for Space Chicken, in case you don't cross over. Um, so you play the entire game is like in a dual screen. So the top screen is like the line of people trying to get into the country, and then the bottom screen is your booth and your desk, and they just come and they just give you your passport, and you have a little book of the countries to see if the passport's legit, and you either let them in the country or don't let them in the country based off their passport. And then there's a terrorist attack, so they're like, hey, people from this country, they get extra searched. So you start extra searching those people. Then they come and they're like, hey, dude, totally bad idea to extra search these people. The other country's really mad at us, so no more extra searching those people. And then all of a sudden, this people walks up to the booth and they're like, Asterix will be destroyed. And then they just slip you a piece of paper. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? 2 days later, you're involved in a revolution of letting people into the country, not letting people into the country. And the beauty of the game, the subtlety of it, is that they bounce it against the fact that you have to feed your family. So you have a family that consists of your wife, kids, and in-laws.
This is just creating a full time job for you.
Right.
That's all it is. You're like a border patrol person. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, but you get paid by the number of people you process. So if you're not processing people fast, you're not making money, which means your family will literally die. Your family will fucking die and that's game over. But the game over for the thing is if you don't bring enough money to support your family home, they die. I know explaining it just sounds crazy.
Sounds like real life. It's
It
just
does.
like
It's super stressful, bro. It's super stressful. But the game is literally just and then you just stamp it, or you don't stamp it, or you interrogate them, or you send them to get searched, or you use a fucking body camera to get their naked bodies, and you're trying to find discrepancies on their paperwork. Here's the working papers. It doesn't match the passport number. Who are you? Are you a terrorist? Search him, interrogate him, put a fist in his anus. It's fucking bananas, bro. Bananas. Great game. Everyone should play it.
sounds so ridiculous. You're like trying to sell me a job right now. You're like, I come home from work, it's a rough day. I'm gonna go through a bunch of paperwork of people trying to get into a country because I gotta feed my fake family.
You literally get better you get good at checking fake passports. Like, the more you play, your skill level rises. You're like, oh, dude, no, dude. This isn't even a state in your country. Who are you? Yeah, that's it. Interrogator guy, interrogate him. Next.
This is like Homeland Security's game to find a good person to work for them.
It's fun, dude. It's so good. It is. But that's what I'm saying. Like I need these. I'm gonna hold on. My Steam library. I know my Steam library is small, but my Steam library has 147 games in it, right? And I just can't. I have trouble finding the game that will satisfy what I need, which is why I went looking for the turn-based game. It's why I went down that rabbit hole, because I'm like, the top-down, like, not exactly 4K, but 4K-ish game. Like, all right, I've been there, done that. These multiplayer games, I'm not having fun unless I'm playing with people I know. And I don't like making friends on the internet. Like, I know people, like Stu, will meet people on the internet and then just start playing with them, and I'm like,
This sounds really bad, by the way.
yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, dude, I don't know you, and what if you're a rapist? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if you're a goddamn child molester? I know you're not trying to molest and or rape me, but if that's what you're down in regular life, I don't want to help you get a high score. Like that's it. But I'll never know that, so I don't want to like talk to people on the. Look. I know it sounds weird. I know it sounds kind of like, but I don't know. I know you. I've met you in real life. Like I've met family members of yours. I'm comfortable going on the internet and playing a game with you. I'm not when I solo queue and people try to chat with me. I'm like, stop it. Tell me where bad guys are. That is it, dude. Don't like.
Show me the documents and move along.
Keep it going. Where are your papers? But Papers, Please, by the way, is a single player game.
No papers. Oh, that I cannot. You just described what sounds to me like the most boring game ever.
But that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like, it sounds boring. And day one is always boring. Day one is just them teaching you, like, the mechanics of the game. But day one ends with a suicide bomber.
During your internship? During your internship?
Fuck you. Fuck you, I played a game. Fuck you, you played WoW for 10 years. Shut up. You can't judge me.
I get the vibe though, where like I think most people who play games get the same feeling where they're kind of like, you find a game you like to play, right, and you're fine playing it, but then a day comes where you go to play because hey, I want to just relax and play a game, and you got really really frustrated, and then you realize that you shut off the game. This may be a personal thing that happened to me the other day.
Yeah, I feel like it's coming from a really real place.
You shut off the game because you're so pissed, and you're like, but I still want to do something now, and I want to play a game. What can I play? And then you don't really have anything that you're like, you don't have a backup, to like, just something to go ease the mind of like, that's been, at least for me, and that always happened with WoW too. And with WoW, what I used to do was I used to play Team Fortress. Because to me, Team Fortress 2 was just this like absolutely ridiculous game where I was a guy holding a machine gun shooting at all these people or something. Mm-hmm. And coming from the other game where it was more serious at times, it was nice to get away. Now that I'm playing Paladins and nothing else, when I lie on the Paladins and the other team has 14 flanks and they keep killing me and I can't do anything, I get off the game and I have nothing else to do. So I kind of get frustrated.
Yeah, and that's also why I have so many games. I mean, when I do the math on it, right? I think a game like Fallout 4, right? I love Fallout 4. Fallout 4, I've never ended, and it's because like when I get home in the evening and I put Fallout 4 feels like such a thing that I have to focus on. It seems weird, but it feels like, dude, I really have to focus. I don't want to fucking die. Like, I don't want to... Dying sometimes in a video game like Fallout 4 feels like such a burden. It feels like, fuck, dude, I wish you would have killed my pets. Like, I would have rather that because I would have thrown them out the window and everything would have been fine. You killed me. I have to now re-walk. I know you can save whenever. Just shut up. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you don't want to be quick saving constantly. I have another game, Tyranny, I'm playing. By the way, if you've never played Tyranny, Tyranny, another top-down style game, not turn-based, but
Mm.
still kind of like D&D. But you can pause it. You can pause. So, um, it's by the same people who made Pillars of Eternity. So for those of you listening who've played the game, Tyranny is the spiritual successor to Pillars of Eternity. So it's like Pillars of Eternity except better. And if you've never played Pillars of Eternity, go play Pillars of Eternity. That fucking game is solid, and this is a better version of it. I'm just floating it out there. If you're into the top down kind of like control your guy, tell him who to kill kind of thing. So anyway, that game, love that game. It's a burden. It feels burdensome to play. Like I have to think so much about what I'm doing, and I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and freeze this guy, and while he's frozen, I'll have this guy hit him with his mace because mace does damage, crush damage to people who are affected by freeze. All right, we're good. Fucking dragon! Where did this dragon come from? This is bullshit. Fuck! I can't kill the dragon. It's not like I can kill the dragon. And then, like again, it's fun because it's challenging, and that's the kind of stuff like I seek when I'm playing video games. But sometimes in the evening, like when I'm trying to wind, I'm like, so like I got Stardew Valley the other day. 100%. So Stardew Valley, for those of you who've never played it, really fun game. It hits all of the parts of your brain that gets happy when you're playing a mobile game, like Farmville, right? So if it's like, oh, I'm farming stuff, and you feel good about farming, and you're exploring, and you're talking to people, but there's this cave, right? This is the only place you can die, is this cave, and the cave has like 40 levels, and you got to go down it. If you die in the cave, you lose 11 levels of progress.
Oh, jeez.
So every 5 levels, you get an elevator so that you can continue from that spot. But if you die, you go back 11. So that's 2 elevators plus 1 for those of you doing the math at home.
Jeez.
So other than that, I'm growing beans, I'm growing cauliflower, I'm growing kale, watermelons. I'm going fishing and selling my fish for profit. I'm expanding my farm. I'm building a coop for the chickens. All this stuff. I'm like, let me go into the mines, kill some slimes. You kill slime. I died. I lost 11. Dude, I threw the controller against the wall. I turned my computer off. I said, this is my unwind game. This is the game so I can disengage from the seriousness of killing Nazis and or zombies. And I ended up losing 11 levels in the mine. The single most frustrated I've been playing video games in the past 60 days was fucking going back 11 levels on the mines.
That
Yeah.
sounds.
Yeah. It's a silly little game that's fun and unwinding, and it made me angry. It made me rage quit. Today I'm admitting I raged quit on Stardew Valley. That's where I'm at in my life. That I rage quit Stardew Valley. What does that tell you about me, first of all, as a person?
I think you as a person needs a break. I think that's something that everybody can kind of relate with, but I agree that that's just like what game is a good chill game, a good game to have as a backup. And I think that I haven't found a genre. Like I used to think that some kind of PvE kind of base game, because I feel like PvP is inherently like frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, because, and it can be like, people find it, and this is what I was thinking about yesterday, I don't find it satisfying to join a game that just complete another spawn camped horrible, or when I'm on the reverse end. Like if I join a game and our team is just destroying, I'm like, this sucks. This doesn't feel satisfying.
Oh, I love a good one-sided pub stomp. When I'm stomping said pub, dude, I'm all about that life.
I just don't enjoy it because I feel like, I don't know, it just feels like I put forth no effort. especially when you're with people who are rated players, and they're in there and they've got like 1,200 hours behind the game and they're destroying, and you're like, well, I guess this is great. I don't know. It
So
just
I get what you're saying. So like when we talk, my brother sent me a meme. Let me see if I can't get it up here. It was such a great meme about uh what do you call it? Fucking like playing with people online and then
mm,
not understanding how to play the game and their responses to you when you call them out and not playing the game. PvP has such a fucking thing about that. It's difficult to describe because you don't want like to be the person who's ragey. Like you don't want to be the one who's like, yeah, you don't know how to play the game. But there comes a point, and it feels separate, right? You have two things. You have not being good at the game, and then not being able to play the game. And I think
mm,
those two are completely separate. If we examine it, like if someone goes in and they just walk in and they just shit all over the floor, they're like, I thought this is how you play the game, that you shit on the floor. And it's like, no, clearly you don't play this game by shitting on the floor. Like, I
no,
feel like that goes without saying. And they're like, dude, I'm just trying to have fun, bro. So I'm shitting
bruh,
on the floor.
bruh.
And it becomes super, super upsetting. But there is the other side of it where sometimes, and I can tell you as a former solo laner in Smite, when you're getting straight up bodied, when you're getting recopotamist, why is space chicken not an option here?
Brickopotamus.
Oh yeah, dude. When someone's putting them, giving them hands, as they say, and you're getting just totally destroyed, it's one of those things where look, I know how to play the game, but this guy's just fucking better than I am. And sometimes in a one-on-one, someone is better than the other person. So I try not to get upset when someone's losing, right?
Mm,
Because someone has to lose, right? There's going to be a victor and there's going to be a loser. And sometimes someone has to be another. I don't mind that. But like that game we were playing Paladins that we put up on the No Right Answer site, where the guys just wouldn't assault the point. Like they
yeah.
would not assault the point, and it's like, no, you are not playing the game correctly. We have to assault the point. The point of the game is not to snipe people and get kills. The point of the game is to assault the points. Your sniping and your flanking has to be in support of that objective. If it's not, you're just fucking about. Stop fucking about and help me win. And it's like in Paragon when I was playing on the lower levels in Paragon, where you would start a game and everyone, all 5 people would go mid lane. It's like, what are you doing? There's 3 lanes. Like, there's a meta, and the meta's explained to you, too, in the tutorial. One dude here, 2 dudes here, one dude roaming about. Like, it's explained to you explicitly. And that gets frustrating in the PvP. And I see what you're saying. Sometimes the PvE might be
Mm.
where you seek comfort, but I don't know if you've ever experienced what I call Street Fighter / King of Fighter syndrome, where there's just this PvE dude who's just unbeatable. And to beat
I,
him, it has nothing to do with everything you've learned, but learning their patterns. That'll take me out of the game too in a PvE.
that makes sense. I get that. I guess so. I just when you eliminate when you know what the parameters are, like with PvP, you never know what you're going to end up getting. I think um is the thing. Like I you could log on and play a well even matched, or you could log on. See, the one thing I do know is that with something like Paladins, there's less talking. Like if you were in WoW, you'd have to sit there and you'd have the chat open, and the filth that would pour out of people if you don't do the right thing at the right time. For a lot of games, that is. But with Paladins, I don't think anybody uses that damn chat. If they do, it's very seldom. Like we experienced the other day when we were doing the PvE thing, but it was very like barely used.
So the problem with the VGS in the Paladins is that I feel like a lot of people who are playing Paladins like aren't the same. Like if you play Smite, people use the VGS all the time, and in Paladins, not a lot of people use the VGS in casuals. We're talking casuals.
That's true. That's
For
true.
the record, Not MLG Pro. Not MLG Pro. Neither one of us are the answer to all of your needs. Um, but you have to learn it. Like it's something you have to learn. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to learn what is what on it, and that I think is part of the problem, where you
Yeah.
have to learn. Hey, this is the thing for this. Where if it's just a voice chat, and more games are just including voice chat in their games, which I think is a solid idea.
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. I would definitely say so. I don't know. It's just you're putting it up on the screen for those
Yeah.
of you who are listening to the podcast.
I'm gonna move this over, and I'm gonna make it big.
On the video right now, there is a meme. Hey man, want to put that there?
Yeah, this is a meme my brother sent me because so my brother, bless his heart, he is one of the people who will BM you in a game. He just not a lot of fucks given, but it's a meme about tic tac toe where
That
they
is
go,
so good. It's not even funny. That is so
hey.
on point. That is so on point.
Again, we're doing this for so I know if you guys are watching YouTube, you can see the meme, but for those of you on audio, it's
You
a guy
wanna-
going to say, "Hey, you want to play tic tac
Hold on,
toe?"
hold on, hold on.
Okay.
Let's play this back and forth.
All right.
Who
Hey,
do you want to
man,
be? What do you want
want
to
to
be?
play tic tac toe?
Yeah, dude. I love games.
All right.
What the-
So
what-
so now I've scribbled tic tac toe, and instead of 0 and X's, I'm drawing diamonds, squiggle lines, fuck all digits. Go ahead.
Wait, what the hell? This isn't tic-tac-toe, dude. Come on, man. You know how to play.
LOL, dude, it's just a game. Chill out. Who even cares? Sorry, I don't play 24/7. I just play tic tac toe for fun. You're a tryhard, bro. Get a life.
It's hilarious.
And again, like we've played with these people, but I feel like that there's a balance between that. Like there's again, when I go back to, is this dude better than me, right? So don't get mad at me because the other guy's better than I am. Get mad at me if instead of being in lane farming, or instead of using my heal on the tank when he's low, I'm all fucking about. Get mad at me because I'm not playing the game properly. But don't get mad at me if I'm literally just not better than the other guy. I'm getting better by playing. I once played a game of Smite. I swear to God, I had played a game of Smite. It was probably like my second or third game as Bologna. And I didn't know what I was doing. But again, it was a casual game. Someone messaged me after the game, dude, never play Bologna again. So I replied to him, I'm like, yeah, man, that's how you get better at things, not practicing. GG, bro. And he just wrote back, GG. I'm like, yeah, dude, just let me practice. Like, when am I supposed to practice against bots? You don't get better practice against bots. I get better practice against people. Now I'm a mediocre, average Bologna player, where before I was like, what does this hammer do? So anyway, I actually think somehow we made an hour of this, which is amazing. Do want to just quickly plug the other YouTube channel we have, which is the first YouTube channel we have, which is No Right Answers Gaming, where we provide none of the correct answers for how to play video games, but a lot of stupid, weird Paladins videos, which is not a Paladins channel, by the way. It's just we've been playing all Paladins lately. Again, I think I went over most of the games I'm playing now. So just to the answer to the riddle in which we started this video with, and I don't know if people realize, we started talking about my itch to play a turn-based game, and I ended up downloading For the King, a Legends of Isilwald. I'm going to go with Isilwald. Legends of Isilwald is a very interesting turn-based game. Grid-based, but you can't move where you are on your grid. Very strategy deep, because you have to strategically retreat to get to your healer. And then For the King is a game that Scott would absolutely hate. It's in the Final Fantasy. Stand next to each other, slap a dude, walk back to your spot.
Oh, God.
Spirit. Also in early access, and for those of you who have not heard the early access beta test podcast, please go back and listen to it. Long story short, no one should ever pay into early access, but I do it so you don't have to. Scott, what do you got?
I mean, I don't have a lot. I'm here generally every Thursday, So if you enjoy hearing me, you can come back next week.
So, for the record, we record
Oh,
weekly
that would
either
probably.
either a space chicken or popcorn chicken, and I know I've been slacking on the minute movies, but I'm really sad that Screen Junkies stole my carpet from Aladdin joke from the Doctor Strange video that I did, the minute movie Doctor Strange video.
They
And
stole the joke?
I'm gonna say that they stole it, even though it was the most obvious reference that the cape from Doctor Strange was totally the carpet from Aladdin. But I made it first. Let the record show I made that fucking joke first, and then Screen Junkies did it in their honest trailers. Today, write it down. Whatever this gets posted. But if you guys feel like the content isn't coming out weekly, it's because that guy is the manager of the Talking Chicken Network YouTube channel, and he has not been publishing the videos. I said slyly passing the buck. I think we're good. Are we good?
I think we're good.
NRAG _ Danny on the Twitter. Someone tweeter me. God damn it. Whatever. Space Chicken complete.